Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loga Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhatarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukaro Anthakaro Vairukarastan Nivartakaha Anthakara Nirodhitvat Gururityapi Dhiyate Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavati Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Bhadram Karne Vishranyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshaviryachatraha Sthirairangai Sushtuvam Sastanupihi Vishema Devahitam Yatayuhu Sustina Indro Vriddashravaha Sustina Pusha Vishwavedaha Sustinastarchu Arishtanemihi Sustino Brahaspatir Dathatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. The word Upanishad is a synonymous for Vedanta. So whenever you listen Vedanta, the word, it means also Upanishad. The word Vedanta means, in our tradition, we have 4 Vedas. Rigvedam, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvaveda. And at the end of all Vedas, the human goal, the realization of oneself, is been told, and it will be the subject matter of the Veda Anta. Vedasya Andabhagam. The end portion of Vedas have a different topic. After talking about various rituals, various prayers, various meditations, various neutralizing actions like Prayashchitta Karmani, various Kamya Karmani, to get the desirable results, those rituals are being quoted like Putra Kameshtiyakam, to have a good rainfall in a proper place where there is no rain for years. There is another ritual, Kārikā. All these rituals are being quoted in the first portion of the Vedas. Mostly it is called ritualistic portion, or in Sanskrit it is called Karma Kandam, where the importance for the rituals are given in the Vedas. And almost 80% of the Vedas are talking about various rituals, prayers, meditations, or different types of actions which will take you to heaven, which will take you to another world. All these rituals are being discussed in the first portion of the Vedas. But at the last portion of the Vedas, it's called Veda Antaha. If you separate them, Vedasya Andabhagam, at the last portion of the Vedas. The last portion of the Vedas have a different topic and different subject matter. It talks about the reality of one's own nature. What is a human being? whether this human being have death and birth, whether this human being is subject to suffering, and all the secrets about who is called Lord. What about these different types of lords in Hinduism? What are the connection between the Lord and the individual jiva? What is the purpose of a human life? All these topics are being discussed, and at last the human goal is presented. Knowing one's own real life or one's own real nature will make the person liberated. Thus, a person, after giving up this body, never take again another body to, to be to go through sufferings and pain in this world. But for that, one needs to know who am I. That has been the subject matter of the Vedanta. This Vedanta is also called Upanishad. It is also called Brahma Jnanam. It is also called Jivan Mukti. It is also called Atma Jnanam. It is also called Brahma Vicharam. It is also called, so different names are there for Vedanta. May one should not get confused of that. The unity between the individual and the Lord is the subject matter of Vedanta. There is no difference between the intrinsic nature of the Lord and the intrinsic nature of the individual. Like a gold coin is not separate from a gold chain from the standpoint of its real cause or the real nature. Both are different from the empirical standpoint. One is gold coin, one is a golden chain. But from the standpoint of the reality, the both are one and the same, which is called they are gold. Similarly, as an individual, I take myself as a human body. I born in this nation. I got a name from my father and mother. So different types of issues are there for a human body. It is limited with the strength. It is limited with the thinking. It is limited with all kinds of activities. We cannot take a mountain in our hand because we are limited. We cannot lift more than 200 kg. If you practice, you can hold 200 kg in your shoulders. More than that, it is difficult because we are limited. We are made of flesh and bones. But the Almighty Lord can control the entire creation. The Almighty Lord can give lot of things in this creation. He can control by taking one's own life who are cruel towards this creation. He can control placing the new things in this world. Like that, Almighty Lord is different from a limited human being from the empirical standpoint. But when we see their real nature, the reality of an individual and the reality of the Lord are one and the same. Like the golden chain and the gold coin. Both are one and the same from the standpoint of gold. This is the subject matter of Vedanta or Upanishad. You are non-separate from the standpoint of real nature of the Lord. You are Lord. That is what we call Aham Brahma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that Brahman, which is the intrinsic nature of the Lord. Or in another statement, Tattvamasi. You are that. That means you are the eternal consciousness, blissful Brahman. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. When the Upanishad or Vedanta says, you are that, Tattvamasi, we are just taking only the meaning of Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi should be extended to other things. Like when I say I am that, I should also think that I am not other than this thing. That means I am not a human body. I am not a human mind. I am not a person who got birth in this world in a nation. I am not a person who called male or female. I am not anything other than Brahman. Because nobody in this world will have two intrinsic nature. For example, this is a plastic chair and this is also a golden chain. We will not say towards a thing in this empirical reality. If it is a plastic chair, it is not a golden chain. If it is a golden chain, it is not a plastic chair. So, two different things cannot be pointed in one single thing in this empirical world. The same logic should be applied when you listen Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi. When the Upanishad says that you are Brahman, you are not human being, you are not a human body, you are not a human mind, you are not anything other than Brahman. So all the incidental attributes like I am a girl, I am a woman, I am a daughter, I am a wife, I am this, I am that, I am a household, I am a person who is conducting a household life. All these are incidental attributes. These incidental attributes are called mistaken identities. One taking oneself as a mistaken identity or a mistaken idea. Oneself. Like, when in the dark room, Shankara's stock example, in the dark room, a rope is enveloped by darkness. But when a person opens this dark room and enters inside the dark room and stepped upon this rope, immediately he will take this rope by mistake. It is a snake. This is called a mistaken idea. Similarly, when I am born in this world, my father didn't talk about my real nature that you are Brahman. My mother didn't convince me you are Brahman. But instead of convincing you are Brahman, which is not subject to death and birth, they convinced me you are a human body, you are a human girl, you are a human man. You should have responsibilities. You have to study. You have to do this. You have to do that. Different types of responsibilities which are connected to social life, which are connected to individual life. All these activities are being dumped on this mistaken identity that I am a human being in this world. One after another, lots and lots of mistaken ideas are being piling up now from the first mistaken idea that I am a human being. That notion is being cleared by revealing the right thing by the Upanishad. Who are me, or who am I? That is being answered through the Upanishad. This is the entire subject matter of the Upanishad. Remember, this being the human goal, even though if you get bored for the first time, one should go through this. The purpose of the human life is to achieve the human goal, Purushartham. Human goal in Sanskrit, it is called Purushartham. We have 4 human goals: Dharmam, Artham, Kamam, Moksham. Doing the right thing and not disturbing the other living beings while living in the world. Our sages have introduced the first portion of the Vedas, which talks about the values and the universal social conducts and everything. This is called dharma. Without dharma, you cannot achieve anything and you cannot enjoy properly. If you go with adharma and achieve something, you cannot enjoy it properly. So, dharma and artha kama. Artha and kama is, we can say, it is our innate way of dealing in the world. It's common for everybody. Like, I want to enjoy an object, then it is called artha. For example, I love football. I want to buy a football and play. Then the football become my artha. And kama is that I want to play the football. Similarly, I want to buy a golden chain. This will become artha. And I want to wear the golden chain in the society so that people will value that I have some money and they will give some respect. So, artha and kama is an inherited idea in all living beings. Even a crow will have the desire to make a nest and to lay some eggs and raise the chicks. Even a beaver who make nest in the flowing water have some idea to make a nest and to raise their kids. So artha and kama are common for all living beings, but dharma and the fourth, moksha. Mochanam, the word itself is moksha. To be free from the death and the birth cycle and the pain and sufferings. I want to be free. I want to get rid of from all kinds of my limitations. Even though I am a human body, when it gets aged, I will have leg pain. I have neck pain. I will have this, that, everything. So, I want to free from all kinds of limitations, including my death and birth. Thus, moksha will come in the picture. Only human being birth can achieve moksha among the 84 lakhs of living beings. Human beings are the only species who have guru and who will study books. No other living beings in this world will study books, or no other living being will not go in search of a guru to study what is my aim in this world, what is my goal in this world. Thus, we have almost more than 120 Upanishads, they say, even in this century. But it is more. It is been distracted by the invasion of different religious readers, and they are distracted. They cause destruction, mass destruction for the valuable books in our tradition. Still, we have 108 Upanishads available. Among them, 10 Upanishads we have profound in our tradition, because Shankara, Adi Shankara, who born in Kerala, given the commentary for this Upanishad. What is meant by commentary? A brief explanation so that people can understand the real idea of the verses of Upanishad. Word by word meaning, sentences, meaning of sentences, if there any hidden meaning or if is there any other secondary meaning, all these things are brought into in his commentary. That is why 10 Upanishads are important. Among them, Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is very profound because it talks about Om, it talks about the three states of individual, it talks about the Akara, which is the first letter of the Om, it talks about the Ukara of the second letter of the Om, it talks about the Makara of the third letter of the Om. The whole syllable is discussed and the moksha is brought into. What is the connection between the Om and the individual and the three states, and what is the connection with the moksha? All these things are being brought into by the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Few people are beginners in the class, no need to worry. Please listen carefully. Each and every class will be valuable in the future. And if you want to go through the previous classes, we have uploaded all the classes in the YouTube, including the Kathopanishad, which we have taken before this Upanishad. So those who want to study all these things, you can go through that Upanishads again and again, because nothing other than should be our priority in our human life. May one know what is the reality of a human being, and may one get freed from the death and birth cycle. We are in the seventh verse of the Upanishad, along with the Gaudapada kārikā. According to our tradition, we have to study. This may end up 4 years and years, maybe 3, 4 years, but we will go slowly and study. So here we are looking into the seventh verse of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, which will appear in your screen. I will read, then I will give the example. We have already almost finished, but I want to brush up again. It is worthy. I will read the verse. Nāntaf prajñam, na bahish prajñam, na upayataf prajñam, na prajñāna ghanam, na prajñam na aprajñam, atrishtham avyavaharyam agrahyam alakshanam, achintyam avyapadeshyam ekatma pratyasaram prapancha upashamam, shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma savigneyaha. So this is the verse which we are looking for last 2 classes, and we will conclude today with the entire meaning. So the logic behind presenting the negation of different words in this verse, because it starts with na antaf prajñam. It is not the consciousness which is subjective. The idea is removal of the wrong ideas and the realization of the nature of a thing. Both are one and the same action. Again, I will repeat. Removal of a wrong idea on a thing which is superimposed, and the realizing or realization of the nature of a thing. They are one action. For example, I will give you the removal of the darkness inside the room and the realizing the nature of the rope when the darkness goes, when the light comes. You see the rope laying down inside the room. They are one and the same action. Remember that. The negation of the wrong ideas, the disappearance of the wrong ideas inside the mind and also our imaginations, and getting the reality or the realization of the nature of the object are one and the same. Both are one and the same. The same logic is applied here, because Brahman is not something which can be indicated by words. I gave you elaborated discussion where the words have scope. Brahman being formless, which is all pervasive, which is available right now. That Brahman is not indicatable by words. Only 5 factors can be indicated by words, which we have already seen in the last class. Then, so the words don't have any scope. There is no way of directly pointing the nature of our reality. The Upanishad takes another profound way to reveal the nature of an individual. Take away all wrong ideas which are superimposed on the human being. All the wrong ideas. That is being presented through the words Nantaf Prajnam Nabahish Prajnam. I already explained what is meant by Nantaf Prajnam. Nantaf Prajnam, the consciousness which is obtained in the human body or which is subjective. It negates the Taijasaha, who appears as the dreamer, who see dreams. So, I am not a person who see dreams, or I am not a dreamer. Taijasaha, the name is called Taijasaha. I am not Taijasaha. Na Bahish Prajnam, one who is objective, one who is extroverted with the consciousness, who see different things in the world. This is the main thing to be negated, Our waking state is very important for us. In the waking state only we get married. In the waking state only we build houses. In the waking state only I get my job and I do my occupation. In the waking state only I accumulate money. I accumulate power. I accumulate different types of awards, different types of prestigious issues related to my body. So waking state is very important for me, because waking state is being taken as completely real in this world by everybody. So I am very much addicted. I am very much connected with my waking state, because I have job, I have money, I got married, I have 4 kids, I have 4 cars, I have different apartments in different countries, I have this much bank balance, I have a good job. All these mistaken ideas are being taken as real in the waking state only. But the Upanishad says, waking state is unreal. When the waking state itself is unreal, what to talk about the subjects which are obtaining inside the waking state? That is, they are also unreal. Waking state itself is unreal, and the things which are appearing inside the waking state is also unreal, which need not to be negated. When the state itself is negated, the things which are appearing is also being negated. A simple logic to say that waking state is unreal. What are the things you have achieved in the waking state will not appear when you change when you go to another state, dream state. In the dream state, a lion is not a lion. In the deep sleep state, a lion is not a lion. A business king is not a business king. A person who made or constructed a house is not a person who constructed a house in the deep sleep state or dream state. He is something other than that. In fact, in dream, we can see any other role. Like, I can see myself as a beggar in the dream. I can see myself at sitting in a place, losing all kinds of money, and I am just a poor guy. That shows that waking state itself is a imagination, a superimposed idea. That is being negated by the Upanishad. Then if you ask me, why should I believe Upanishad? When the Upanishad don't want anything from you, and it is surviving for last 10,000 years or 12,000 years because it is real. Our sages have been given to their disciples, and those disciples became gurus, and they given to other disciples. If the subject matter is not a real thing, it will not survive for generation after generation. If I can sit in front of you and I can talk about this reality even now, it means that Upanishad is talking about the reality of the human being. If it is a lie, it will not survive more than 100 or 200 years, correct? So that itself is a big fact to be taken oneself. And also, by logic, you can think yourself. In the dream state or deep sleep state, my waking state achievements are not there at all. It shows that everything is impermanent in this world. Nantaf prajnam, na bahish prajnam, na upayatav prajnam. It is not something an intermediate, because some people think that when they go to meditation, they are not sleeping, they are not dreaming, they are not in the waking state. In that intermediate stage, you see Lord. So that is also being negated. Na upayatav prajnam. Na prajnana ghanam. This negates the deep sleep state, who is called prajna. Thus, the Vishwa who is appearing in the waking state is been negated. Taijasa who is appearing in the dream state is negated. The Prajnaha who is appearing in the deep sleep state is negated. And also meditation or any other activities which is not waking state, which is not dream state, in between you are there, that is also negated by saying na upayatav prajnam. Then na prajnam. A simple conscious being who is dealing with the different things in this world, that is also not the turiya, the fourth stage, or the consciousness which is eternal. That small life form who is appearing inside the human body, he is also not at all a turiya. People may consider oneself that, oh, I am the Lord. It means that consciousness which is appearing inside only in this body is not at all a consciousness, or not at all the Brahman. That is also been negated. Na aprajnam. It is not insentient. Because in this world, clay is insentient, and clay can be converted into different vessels, different things, different pots, etc., etc. So it is told here, it is not insentient, like a piece of wood or a stone. It is not insentient, it is sentient. Like that, all the wrong ideas are being removed, superimposed ideas are being removed, but there is a substratum. On the substratum, only three states are appearing, and that substratum is called turiyaha. When we considered the three states, then the fourth is not a state, fourth is the substratum of these three states. And that substratum is adrishtam, which is not available for the senses. 5 senses are there as senses of knowledge. 5 senses are there which are senses of action. For these senses, it is not available. Adrishtam, avyavaharyam, which is not available as a secondary thing. I already mentioned you in the last class. Agrahyam, you cannot hold on these things which is formless. Agrahyam. Alakshanam, there is no indications or any other characteristics to infer, because inference is a valid means of knowledge. Pratyaksham, anumanam. In Sanskrit, it is called anumanam. See, when you don't see something in this world, you can infer. Like, in the mountain, a smoke is rising in the top of in the tip of the mountain. You can see some smoke. You don't see fire. But you know that they are invariable, smoke and fire. Where there is fire, there will be smoke. So by the indication, by the characteristic smoke being available to your eyes, you infer that mountain has fire because I can see some smoke. Parvato Vanniman Dhumavatvat. This mountain has some fire because I can see smoke. Smoke and fire are invariable. Thus, inference have a lot of role to play in our daily life. When you go inside a house, you don't see anybody, but you can see the chappal of the person who are connected with you, the footwear. By seeing the footwear, you will infer that the person is inside, even though he is not available right now for my eyes. This is called inference. So, for the inference, you should collect data. Without data, there is no inference. Even to analyze the moon, you should have some data which are collected from the moon. So, inference is a main means of knowledge. Here, when something is devoid of form, how can I infer? There is no other indication for the Brahman to go through inference. That is what been told here, alakshanam. You cannot infer something. And in order to infer, it should be a secondary thing. When there is a superimposition of something other than what it is, what infer you will get? You being the innate nature, Brahman, how can you infer a secondary thing? So, inference doesn't have any scope in accomplishing our human goal. Alakshanam, achintyam. Mind is familiar to think about a secondary thing in this world. Mind cannot think itself by which or by whom I am working. Mind can think about a cat which is right in front of you, about a bus which is in front of you, about some other things which is in front of you, your children, your wife, your dog, your computer, your pen, anything. Mind is familiar with a secondary thing. Mind cannot think oneself by whom I am working. So, achintyam. And also, mind can only grasp limited things. Mind cannot grasp something which is all pervading. Everywhere it is, including the mind which is working. So, first of all, one should know what is mind, achintyam, when you say. Continuous flow of thoughts or train of thoughts is called mind. You think about your dog. After that, you think about the rice which you have kept inside the kitchen. You think about your car. You think about different things. So, after one thought and another thought. After another, that thought and another thought. So, continuous flow of thoughts, it is called mind. Every thought will have a secondary object which you have picked up from this external world. This is why mind is capable of picking up secondary things from the world. The consciousness which is appearing in the form of pot is called pot consciousness, a thought of mind. The consciousness which is appearing in the form of a dog is called dog consciousness, which is in the form of another thought. So every thought will have a secondary thing. Thus, we will have different thoughts, one after one after one. Thus, different thoughts are there. Now, take away all the secondary things. If you take away the dog from the dog consciousness, then only consciousness remains. You take away the pot from the pot consciousness, the consciousness remains. Consciousness plus consciousness, consciousness only. Thus, mind is nothing but only consciousness, which is Brahman. If you negate the ideas of the mind appearing in the form of thoughts, it will be your innate nature, the consciousness. Free from all names and forms, the mind is equal to Brahman. So, mind is familiar to think about external things. So, when it is not an external thing, it is the form of consciousness of an individual. It is not available for the mind to think about Brahman. Brahman being the nature of the mind cannot think other than, mind can only think about secondary things. It will not think about one's own consciousness. So, adrishtam, avyavaharyam, achintyam, avyabadeshyam. It cannot be pointed out by words. Vyabadeshyam. I already mentioned you, words have scope on 5 different factors. And this Brahman being formless, and it is not available to point out through the words. That is why Upanishad is negating all the superimposed ideas on the reality or the substratum of an individual. The locus. Without a base, there is no superimposition. In order to have a superimposed idea that there is a snake, there should be a rope. Without the rope, there is no superimposed idea of a snake. In order to happen a superimposition, the object should be evident to you. At the night, you are coming, going out for a trip for 2 days, and you are coming. And the top of your house, you see somebody is calling with a white dress, and immediately you will think that it is a ghost. It's a wrong idea, mistaken idea. Really speaking, the servant, the maid has washed your clothes, pajama or whatever it may be, and she hung on the top of your house. And it is already dried up. And your hands and the pajama, your wear, the cloth is calling you as a ghost. In order to happen the superimposition of a ghost, the cloth should be evident to you. But mistaken idea is not something exists at any point of time. There is a mistaken idea because vastu is evident, something is evident. Similarly, our body is a mistaken idea. Where this mistaken idea is existing? On the consciousness, which is all pervasive. I take myself, I am a businessman. I take myself as a government serviceman. I take myself as a beautiful woman. I take myself as an old woman. I take myself as some other thing. But all these mistaken ideas are happening on the substratum, which is the consciousness, which is not known to me. So something is not evident to me. Then we superimpose another thing. Thus, words have scope only on the things which are evident to me, which are having 5 factors in order to have the words right in front of, to point out through words. This being formless, which is not available for the empirical dealing, this is called avyabadeshyam. Then, ekatma pratyaya saram. Ekatma pratyaya saram. What is meant by ekatma pratyaya saram? One unit of consciousness which is all pervading, regardless of different species. Snake, cow, bull, buffalo, stars, flowers, rivers, mountain. All these superimposed forms are centered on one single consciousness. Ekatma pratyaya saram. The secret of my reality is this consciousness. My body is centered on this consciousness. Because of my karma, I have a face, I have a body. And I mistaken myself in the last birth also, that I am a living being. Nobody advised me, nobody taught me that you are not an individual. You are all pervading Brahman from the standpoint of reality. Nobody taught me. So I have gone through different birth. Ekatma pratyaya saram will negate all kinds of names and forms right in front of you. Whatever you see, it is a mistaken idea in the waking state, in the dream state, in the deep sleep state, which is not available, as a real thing if you think. Because what is available in the waking state is not available in the dream state. Both things are not available in the deep sleep state. Both states have different things. Those things are not available in the deep sleep state. Thus, ekatma pratyaya saram. Regardless of different things appearing right in front of me in the waking state and deep sleep state, all are made of one single consciousness. In the dream, you will witness elephant. You will witness Jaipur. You will witness rivers. You will witness mountains. You will witness your friend. You will witness your new house. You will witness a different country. Once you wake up, you will see, oh, nothing is real. Everything was dream. But when you see the dream, everything is real. The elephant is in the form because the consciousness became the elephant. And the consciousness became Jaipur. The consciousness became your house. Everything became to be being due to our consciousness. The entire consciousness became the knower. The entire consciousness became the things to be known. The entire consciousness became the knowledge. So, the knower is also consciousness in the dream. The things which are known for me in this world is also the consciousness in the dream. The knowledge which I interact with the things in the dream, also the consciousness only. So this separation is being negated by ekatma pratyaya saram. The essence of the knower, the essence of the things which are in the form of to be known, the essence of the knowledge, all are nothing but one single consciousness. Ekatma pratyaya saram. If you take a book, I am the knower of the book. This is the book which is to be known. And knowledge is the connection between the knower and the thing to be known. Thus knower, known, and the knowledge. This separation is there with the entire world. And it is taken as real by the ordinary people. Thus, the whole world is to be known by me, and I am the knower. Through knowledge, I know different things. Parrots, fishes, elephant, stars, my teacher, my house, all are to be known. They all belong to one category, to be known. And I am the knower, or I am the dealer with all these things. And the knowledge is the connection between both. Thus, Ekatma, the knower is also consciousness. The things to be known is also consciousness. That medium, the knowledge is also consciousness. Thus, everything became one and the same. The knowledge, the knower, and the known. There is no separation between these three things. That's the unity is one. One's consciousness is in the form of to be known, the knower, and the knowledge. This is called Ekatma Pratyaya Saram, essence. Without the essence, a thing cannot be valid, or thing cannot have its worth in this world. If you take the sugarcane juice, what value you will give for the balance of the sugarcane? The essence is the main thing which give all value for a material. Saram means essence. If you take away the oil of the sesame seed, it is not at all a sesame seed at all. It doesn't have any value from there onwards. Similarly, the essence of the individual, the consciousness, the essence of the universe, the essence of each and every individual species or living being, whether it is inert or sentient. The essence of the entire universe is one unit consciousness. What is going to come, what is gone beyond, what is right now we are experiencing, everything is nothing but consciousness. Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. There is no division between you and me. From the empirical standpoint, I am separate from you, and I see you, you see me. But from the standpoint of ultimate reality, this separation is being negated by the Upanishad. Even though we appear in two bodies, we are made of one single consciousness, like the bubbles appearing in the water are just having the essence of water, but they appear into two different bubbles or two different waves. The waves, the notion is taken away, the water remains. Like that, Ekatma, one single unit of consciousness became the knower, became the known, to be known, became the knowledge. Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. When you come to know that, Prapancha Upashamam, this will be the cessation of the external world. You will never get fear of anything in this world. Prapancha Upashamam, the destruction of the external world while living, while seeing. You know, you have mistaken a rope into a snake. After a few minutes, your friend switch on the light and you saw that it is not at all a snake, but it's a rope. Now, the friend switch off the light and you stepped upon the rope, but you know that it is not snake, but rope. Similarly, after realizing the real nature of the world and the people and the individual and myself, I don't be fear anymore. I don't fear about my subordinates. I don't fear about my bank debts. I don't be fear about anything in the world. Everything is just like a dream, even though you are in the waking state. Prapancha Upashamam. Everything is nothing but a consciousness. All these things appear to be very real, but it is not at all real. It's all unreal. Bank manager is nothing but consciousness. The police is nothing but consciousness. My body is nothing but consciousness. But whatever I perceive with my human eye, they seems to be real. But after the studying, after getting the knowledge from the traditional teacher, it seems to be unreal. It is unreal. It seems to be real for others. Prapancha Upashamam, that is the destruction of the world. You don't have attachment towards the world. You don't have detachment towards the world. After realizing also, it will appear as though it remains. Adi Shankara says that, after realizing that it is a shell, you walk away through the seashore and you will turn back and you will look at the shell. It will be shining as the silver as though before you were seeing. The shining will be there. The shell is a shell. Still the shining of the silver will continue. Another example for the sake of understanding. After knowing there is no sunrise and sunset because it's only a phenomenon, because due to the revolution, due to the rotation of the world or earth, there is no sunrise and sunset. After knowing that also, you may enjoy the morning sunrise and sunset. After knowing that there is no real sunset and a sunrise. The same way, you will be enjoying with your wife and kids. You know that they are all just unreal things. They are mere consciousness. Everything is nothing but consciousness. But you live a life along with them because they are not convinced. They are not studied or taught by a traditional teacher. They are not enlightened like we. So you cannot make some confusion in between them. We are all consciousness. We need not to fill our emotional requirements. We should stay alone. We need not to be happy. We need not to enjoy. This is not the way. After knowing the sunrise and there is no sunrise and sunset, still you go through all your prarabdhas. You know that it is not real. It's all unreal. Knowing that everything is unreal, I am free from subject. I am free from death and birth. You go through all challenges. Nothing to worry about that. But you know the reality of the world and the people and the animals and the insentient things. Thus, Prapancha Upashamam happened in one's mind. The destruction of the world while living, not after the death. You are living in this world. While living, you destruct the entire world by getting the real nature or the real knowledge about this entire world. It is all unreal. Only the reality is the consciousness. This is called Prapancha Upashamam. Then Shantam. What is called Shantam? Shantam means a person is not at all worried. When you reach the destination, you will be free from all kinds of pressures. Because your nature is not at all a human being, even though you appear in a human being form, you are the real consciousness. And this consciousness is having the nature of serene, peace, completely free from all kinds of distractions. Where there is no duality, there is no distractions. Where there is no separation, everything will be silent. Nothing is there other than a consciousness, so that it is Shivam, Shantam. Complete, without any duality, it appears to be very peace and silent. The real nature of a human being is peace and serene. But we consider ourselves other than this reality. I am a human being. I have some limitation with my face. I have some limitation with my hair. I have some limitation with my appearance. So I am distracted. Ashanti. Then I buy ointment. I have to go through. I compare with others. From the standpoint of reality, everything is one and the same. When you come to know that you are peace, what is given, I accept it completely. Self-acceptance is the solution for all kinds of my problems. I accept myself. I am free from all kinds of limitation by nature, by real. But in appearance, I have some difference or defects or limitations from others. But I am not my human body. Thus, you are Shantam. When you come to know the real nature, it is Shantam. Shivam Advaitam. It is auspicious. Once you come to know nothing is there to do in this world other than this, you are the auspicious thing. Shivam. Word Shiva means only pure, only auspicious, which is free from all kinds of defect. So, pure. Shantam. Advaitam, non-separate. You and the Lord is non-separate. You and the world is non-separate. I am in the form of dog. I am in the form of universe. I am in the form of stars. Ishvaraha is nothing but me. The Lord is nothing but me. Everything is non-separate. The waves, the bubbles, everything, the ocean, the dewdrop, nothing. Everything have a name and form. But when you come to the intrinsic nature of everything, the water remains. That is called Advaitam. Even though it appears to be different states, it is from the substratum, it is one, Advaitam, non-separate. The very philosophy is called Advaita Siddhantam. The Upanishad have another name called Advaita Siddhantam, non-duality. Where there is non-duality established in one's mind, you will not have any fear. The consciousness in the form of wild bison, the consciousness in the form of bank manager, the consciousness in the form of lion. How can you fear? The same consciousness which is obtaining in my body is appearing in the form of wild bison. You have a non-separate thinking between you. Then there is no fear on anything to deal. That doesn't mean that you have to go inside the mouth of a lion. You are convinced yourself that everything is one and the same consciousness. Advaitam. This is the fourth thing. Remember, when there are three states, this is only considered to be the fourth to be studied, not the fourth state. It is the base of all these three states. Chaturtham Manyante. This is the fourth, the substratum of three states. Sa Atma, which is our individual form, which is our intrinsic nature. Atma means the intrinsic nature of the listener, the intrinsic nature of the teacher, the intrinsic nature of the world, the intrinsic nature of each and every animal. That Atma, the individual, that is to be known. That is to be understood. This is the human goal. Savijñeyaha means no other business to be done in this world except knowing one's own reality, which is the human goal. If you miss in this birth, we are going to rotate through different life forms like a crow, buffalo, cow, dog, lot of pains and suffering. Once you come to know Aham Brahmasmi, to be understood properly from a traditional teacher, Sa Atma, I am not subject to death and birth. I am not a human being. I am not a household wife. I am not a woman. I am not a man. I am the consciousness which is never subject to death and birth, which is the origination of entire happiness. That is to be understood, which is presented as the fourth in the Upanishad. Chaturtham Manyante, considered as to be the fourth, which is the substratum of all these three states, and that is to be understood by each and every individual. That will be our human goal, moksha, freedom from pain, freedom from suffering, freedom from death and birth, fear, freedom from all kind of fear. A status attained where there is no fear. Abhayam pratishtham vindade. That is to be understood clearly, properly. This is the entire meaning of this verse, and we will discuss more in the next class. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayandam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Gobrahmanebhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyah Prithivi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Choparhitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaah Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om